Hey everybody, welcome to This Board Game Life, episode number 119, titled Reprint versus Reboot. This is the show about board games, tabletop games, card games, any kind of game we want to talk about in particular, whatever suits our fancy at that particular moment. I am one of your fine hosts for today. My name is Rob, and with me as always, I got my good buddy right over here, my good buddy Mark.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the show. So happy to see everybody out there. Or I should say sense everybody out there because we can't really see you out there.
So you're the sensei?
Sure.
You're senseiing everybody?
I'm sensing something.
There you go. Actually, I just noticed I don't have my key lights up, aka my notepad. My notepads that light up the room because I leave everything dark otherwise.
Yeah, it's weird. I've got as I've mentioned, I think I've mentioned on the show, I've transitioned to a Mac after like 30 plus years on a PC. And one of the things when I was setting it up, it hacks one of those key lights like built into like the screen, which is really weird. And then it was like, oh, we'll turn this on in low light. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then I couldn't figure out how to turn it off because it actually annoyed me. And I don't think it really did much because I got all these other lights.
Yeah, I think your room is a lot brighter than it used to be because I think you moved everything, right? Didn't you move everything further up to the wall or something? Because
I did move, and I've also tried to reposition the lights so that they're kind of going upward and not so much in my face.
Yeah, lighting up the ceiling.
Yeah. So it's a constant change. I cannot find a good way to light the room. It's a nightmare. Lighting sucks. I think it's almost worse than audio.
I think we can probably unanimously say that everything involved with production is extremely difficult because as soon as you have video problems, as soon as you knock out the video problems, then you're just flooded with audio issues.
Yep.
And then as soon as you get that taken care of, then you've got some weird kind of artifacts or a hum in the background that was never there before, or robotic voice, as we used to call Mr. Roboto many moons ago.
Yep.
Yeah, that was like 15 years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was on a Mac.
Roboto stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say when I was looking to replace my dying PC that was like maybe a year old, which is pathetic. But it had hardware. I know it has hardware issues, and it was an all-in-one PC, so it wasn't going to be something I can easily replace something. I just decided to replace it altogether and try this Mac. But I was like, man, I hope I don't Roboto like back in the day.
Yeah.
When Brun had his Mac.
Yeah.
And we had those issues. So, but this thing, I will say this thing's been a big learning curve, but I'm falling in love with this thing.
Okay. Good.
Seriously falling in love with this Mac. There is so much that this thing does that my PC doesn't, that I'm just like, whoa, it's just, wow, it's impressive.
What's really impressive is you can indeed teach an old dog new tricks.
I go to Claude a lot. How do I do this? Why is this Mac doing this? I still don't understand installing software on this thing. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
It is really bizarre.
Yeah.
I need to do some learning YouTube videos on installing stuff on Macs, but no, it's not. But anyways,
keep talking to Claude. That's all you need. Version 4.7 came out today. Awesome.
But we're not here to talk about Macs or PCs or AI, unless we're talking about artwork.
Or who knows, right? Who knows?
Or game design, or
yeah. Pretty soon it'll be like AI game design. Actually, they probably already do. We just don't know about it. Anyway,
When are we going to
I
AI
don't-
this show so that we can just watch it and we don't have to sit here and record
Or did we?
it?
It's like we have our avatars.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you're wondering where you can find our content, that's a great question. And I'd love to help answer that. So you can find us up on the YouTubes. So we've got our YouTube channel that has our podcast, both in audio and video formats. We've got unboxings, playthroughs, reviews. Mark does a mailbag, all sorts of cool content up there, and maybe some more. We shall see. But make sure to check it out, like and subscribe if you have perfect timing. You are a master with that. And make sure to like and subscribe. And hey, we love seeing your comments on our videos up there. So we'd love to hear from you. And
I don't know if you saw it, Rob. There was one today. Someone posted in, it was, I think, the Excalibur review that I did. And they said, like, at 11:08 or 11:03 into it, they were like, and they just said the time. And then they said Christopher Walken ? And I was like, what? I'm like, what? What does that comment even mean? So I went to that spot, and I guess I was talking about something, and I did, like, unbeknownst to me, not intentionally, I did like a kind of a Christopher Walken pause type of, like, I'd have to play it back, but I was like, oh my goodness. I did sound like I was imitating him for a second.
Oh, that's funny.
I
didn't pick up on that. I'll have to check to see when
it was like at 11:03 or 11:08. Just go to the 11-minute mark and just listen for a few seconds, and you'll hear me do it. And I'm like, had no idea. So that was pretty funny that one of our listeners picked that up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, that I think it was maybe from that episode. You reminded me of something, and I just want to say that here I am coming back into camera. I do have a tool.
Oh,
it's giving me being sassy on a video there about how I don't
started
have a tool
it.
To open stuff.
You started that, so if you're wondering what we're talking about, so Rob's now doing content on the channel outside of the podcast, which is awesome. I think the coolest thing about that is we have such different, like, I think, tastes, and you are doing,
one of us has, like, good taste and the other is,
and then there's you. So
exactly, there's you.
So, but Rob made a comment like, I don't have this fancy box opening tool like Mark does, so he took the shrink wrap off ahead of time. So then, like, on my next one unboxing, I was like, I was showing my knife. This is my fancy tool, Rob. It's called a knife. So that's fun. But I really have enjoyed watching your unboxings, and you did a playthrough the other day of Tricky Traders. So if you don't forget to hit that bell icon. That way you'll know when Rob or I are launching new content.
Yeah, I think we're both edging towards having some longer form content in there, like, playthroughs and reviews, like you did that Excalibur review the other day. And, I'm sure the listeners are going to love that.
Such a good game.
Excalibur.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
For such a simple game, right? It's cool it's cool when you have a simple game that's very rewarding like that.
Yes.
Anyway. All right. So check us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right. So what have you been playing lately?
Okay. So let me adjust my screen here, because a couple of these, I'm like, I'm going to have to go back and look up as I'm talking about them. It's like, whoa, what was that like again? But I did complete Labyrinth Chronicles, the actual campaign, the actual chronicle portion of the game. And I'll say this, there is a tremendous amount of content in this game. And playing through one time through the story or the campaign, you will not unlock everything. You will probably unlock half the content, and there is what
that
they
for
have
replayability.
Well, yes and no. Like they are encouraging you to replay it again, and you can. They do have, so those in the video game world are probably familiar with New Game Plus. Well, they've applied that here,
with what?
And you get another campaign sheet, and it's called New Game Plus, and it changes. I think it changes the cost to unlock buildings. So as you go through the campaign, there's a whole bunch of buildings that you can choose to unlock, which will add a bunch of content into the game. But you can't do all of them through one campaign. You're going to unlock, I think, 4 of the 8 to 9 buildings that are in there. So to get all of the content, you're going to have to play probably 3 times through the campaign to unlock all of the content if you want it. And do you got a chime on your desk or something?
It's work.
Is that
messages coming through? I just
mute. Mute, Rob. Mute.
Yep. And then I've got to mute Slack now too.
So it's let's see. How do I enjoyed the game. But it's not something that I care to go back and play again to unlock the additional content. It will change the way the game played. It does bring in like new abilities and different things. So it would be kind of neat to, and I can always open up all the boxes and just look at what's there and see how it would have altered it. But there is a lot of content in this game. So you do have the ability to play through the campaign multiple times and play it differently with different content. So that is a positive, I think. Now, the game, I know the original game was really geared towards younger audiences and families.
Yep.
My thought on the Chronicles or the campaign is that, yes, the story is very childlike. It's very focused more towards kids. But I think some of the gameplay, at least the puzzling aspect of like how to move to try, because you're trying to get so many of these tasks, or I forgot what they call them, but there's these cards that you're trying to complete these tasks essentially in your campaign, because then you need to do those to put them, to basically unlock more stuff. And some of those I found very challenging to do. And I think that some of them are a little bit more complicated than like the, 10 to 14-year-old. I think it was 14 and above, maybe 10 and above. But I think that might be a little challenging, some of those, because I remember one time, and of course I'm old, I'm slow, I'm dumb. I'm not saying kids are dumb. I'm saying I am. But I do feel like some of the younger audience might struggle, because I think a lot of the kids, especially in that very younger age, just want to play and have fun and, do this really quick. And this game, the campaign really requires you to think, okay, so if I go this way, or I use this ability first and I move out of the labyrinth to come back in over here, and then I can take this guy out, then I can use this other ability to move over here, which triggers this thing, and you're trying to get these tasks. So sometimes that is your main focus as opposed to getting all the loot. But if you don't get all the loot, if you end up letting the goblins get more loot than you, then you basically lose the campaign. So you always have to keep getting more loot, but you also have to get these tasks done as well. So I feel like there's that kind of depth to this Chronicles version of the game that adds more to it, maybe for an older audience, or makes a little bit more of a strategy game that maybe the younger kids may not appreciate. So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I would think it would be part of the modernization for a more modern game experience. Because when this game originally came out, like years ago, games were much simpler. It was a different time.
Right. So it's really good. I did enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if I think it's definitely more for a niche group. Not Yeah, I would just say that. I don't think it's going to be as widely appreciated of their games as things such as like, Nemesis or Puerto Rico,
Yeah, those are more gamer games.
Yes.
Especially with the special editions. Do you think that Chronicles would be a good like gateway game? Or is it too much?
No, I don't think it's not much. It's light. It's only 1.86. It is not a heavyweight game. And I think, it's just my thoughts as I was playing was that if I was kind of thinking of when especially my youngest son, when he was younger at the let's see, what was the age? Oh, BGG says 8 and up. I just don't see an 8-year-old playing this. And the community says 5 and up. There's no way a 5-year-old is going to be able to understand and have this, the thought process of, 2, 3, sorry about the dog. Hey, 2 or 3 steps ahead. Like they're going to be like, oh, I want to go get the demon or I want to get the loot. That's why I'm like, yeah, it's great for kids if you're just going to play probably the base game, like the original concept. But if to do the Chronicles, I do think there's a different age there. And I think you need to be a little bit older to really kind of appreciate that. And I think younger kids might get more frustrated with the Chronicle or the story portion of it because there's just more to it. And it adds in all these like different tasks that you like need to do. So like when I played the very final mission of the campaign, I had a lot of tasks in front of me, and basically that I had to focus on, like, how am I going to get all these done? Like, I didn't think I could do it in a single game. I somehow managed to do it, but I was basically kind of ignoring the loot and just focusing on how can I get these particular tasks done, because that's what's required to win the game. But I still had to make sure that the goblins didn't take more loot than I did, because that would automatically lose the game. So I really think there was a lot of luck on my final game of the way the labyrinth was moving, and the way things just kind of played out. I think I got really lucky. But I spent a lot of time looking at things like, okay, if I do this, I can knock this out. And then trying to use all the abilities and the special bonuses that come up to maximize every move I took. And that's where I'm like, I think with the campaign, that's why this would appeal to a more experienced or an older audience as opposed to the young audience. So if that makes sense, I think it does.
Absolutely does.
So I really do enjoy it, but it's back on my shelf. You can see it here. Now it filled that hole. If you were watching like the last couple of weeks, there was a hole in my shelf. It's because the game was set up on my table upstairs at the end of my dining room table, taking up space there. And I got a different game there now, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, anyways, Labyrinth Chronicles. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, but it's not something that I honestly think that'll just sit there. I don't think it'll ever come back off the shelf, because I don't want to play the campaign again. There's really it's not something that is that exciting, I think, to play through. It's very basic, but I did enjoy what was there, and it was fun for an experience like one time.
Okay.
So.
Fair enough.
The next game I played, this is a new one all the way from 2013. New one to me. Concordia. So we were talking about my game group. We played Puerto Rico a couple weeks ago, and the conversation was, so we had 2 tables playing the game. I had the new special edition from Awakened Realms, and the other table they had the like original game. And so they were, the guy that owns it always gives me crap because I'm always buying these deluxified versions of stuff. And he's like, my game plays just as good as his. And I'm like, yeah, but mine's pretty, we go back jabbing each other that way. But we were talking about, and I had mentioned how I had bought this special edition of Puerto Rico, yet I'd never played the game. But I was like, Rob's like, oh, it's such a great game. You should get it. And so I'm like, I bought it, and before it arrived, the guy that has this other older version of Concordia played Puerto Rico. I played an older version. He had it. And I was like, this game's awesome. I was really excited to get it. Well, Concordia came out. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to back it. Now, it's not available yet.
It's worthy of the treatment.
Yes. So my buddy Frank was like, well, I've got that game. Let's play it. So we played it, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's a great game. Now I can't wait to get this thing back, but it's going to be, of course, probably the end of 2027 or early 2028 before that thing ever arrives, because I'm still waiting on the Agricola special edition, which, again, I haven't played. Awakened Realms is one of those that I got to buy it. It's like, oh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
But Concordia was really, really fun. I really enjoyed this, and I had to go here to BGG to look at to pull up the pictures of it. And strangely enough, I'm looking at these pictures, and I'm like, I don't remember this. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, now and it just clicked. And yeah, this is a fun game.
Yeah,
trying to move around that map and put your little people out and moving your ship and your person on the land, your ship on the sea, and going to where these like certain tiles are, and just, it was a really fun game. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to what Awakened Realms is going to do with this in their with their crowdfunding later this year for that new special edition. All right, played some Pandemic.
I just hope that they come up with a more normal box for that, because the Concordia box is that long rectangular kind, which it annoys me. It doesn't fit on a shelf good. Well,
I'm going to imagine the Castles of Burgundy special edition and the Puerto Rico special edition are the same box designs.
Yeah.
Castles of Burgundy is a little taller.
Yeah.
But they, from, if it's sitting flat on the table, it's taller. But you set them sideways on your Calyx, and I got them sitting next to each other in the same spot, and they're identical width and length. It's just the depth of the box. So I'd imagine Concordia will be the same.
It probably will be, because the current box for Concordia is it's like Puerto Rico, just maybe 2/3 as thick-ish.
Oh, yeah. All right, moving on. Pandemic Legacy Season 2. Dude, this game is, it's not even fair. This is ridiculously hard. I'd sort of, this game is set up to just beat you down. At this point, my group, and now I'm the dumb one in the group. The other two people I'm playing with are really freaking smart. They are really good at these types of games. They're able to quickly, we need to do this and that. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And I'm like, I need 20 minutes. Okay, if I did this, then I could do that. This would do that. Or they're just like, oh, boom, here's my turn. They just see this stuff, right? So it's not me playing it. I would understand having all this problem if it was just me. I'm playing with two very seasoned, smart gamers, and they're like, what the heck? We're just getting destroyed to the point where, one of the guys was looking through the book the other day, he kept going back to the rule book, are we doing something wrong? Because it's so, even when we first start, you come out the gate and it's we're halfway dead before we even start. We're halfway to the end because of the way the game starts out, and the what's it called? when you get infected, like the infection rate, if you get down to like 10, that the game's over. Well, it's like we're just on our very first round seeding the board for that particular month, and we're halfway down that infection. It's like we're not going to have a shot. It seems so unfair, and we're almost to the point like I'm done. Like we're struggling to have the desire to finish this, and we have season 0 sitting here to wait to play next, and I don't know if we're going to get to it because season 2 is so brutally hard. So I'm hoping, and I kept saying, you know what? We got to a part of the game where they talked about something coming up in the next month that we play, and I'm just saying, I keep telling them, okay, based on what we just read, I'm going to expect something's going to happen next month to allow this game to turn a bit in our favor. And I'm really hoping that that's what happens, because if this continues, we may not ever finish season 2 of Pandemic Legacy. It is that freaking hard.
Everybody's like, forget this.
It's insane. It's crazy. All right. So now a game I'll bet nobody listening to this, maybe you, but I bet you no one else has heard of this game. And we're going to the Wayback Machine. And this is a game that came out in 1962. It has a 1.2 on the weight scale. It's got a BGG score of 4.9. But I love this game. I had a lot of fun with it. And Rob, you might remember this because this was back when we were kids. And this game's called Aggravation. Do you remember this game? It's a lot like Sorry, but with marbles.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
It's a Hasbro game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my mother had her sisters over to visit with her recently, and one of them brought this game, and they wanted to play because my mother remembered that this was something their parents would play this with their friends like every weekend. And I'm like, I remember this game when I was a kid. I had this game. And so it's like, let's play some Aggravation. And it's very easy, simple, but it was fun to go back and play a game from my childhood.
Yeah.
And I remember now my aunts and my mother, their parents are gone. And I remember this was kind of a big deal for my mom. She was like, I want to play this because our parents played it. And, at one point I made a comment that I was like, Mom, I said, your parents are smiling right now watching all you girls play this game that they played and loved. And she started crying. I was like, I didn't mean to do that. But, it was fun to think about family and think about, when I was a kid and my aunts and my mother were thinking about their parents. And so that was fun. Can't overlook the classics. And this is a classic. All right, let me step this up. All right, Puerto Rico, 1897, the special edition. Made a comment about that earlier.
Sure.
Played some Phantom Inc. This is like the game that's like, Phantom Inc. is very interesting. If you haven't played it, you're playing these two different teams, and there's a person on each team that is like the clue giver. So the other people will get these cards, and they're going to pick 2 cards to hand to the clue giver, and basically they ask a question. And it'll be like, what's the opposite of it? Or what sound does it make when it drops? Or what's it taste like? Or, but we have no idea what the thing is we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out this word. So saying what's it taste like might be a really stupid question if it's not a food item, right? So you got to pick these, and you get like 8 cards or something, and you're looking at like, what am I going to ask? But you also got to remember, whatever you ask, the other team doesn't know the question you ask, but they're going to see what's being responded. So they're writing it out, like your clue giver's writing out a letter at a time on this piece of paper. So they're going to take your two questions, look at them, give one back to you, and then discard the other. The one they give back to you is the one they're going to answer. So that stays hidden. So our side knows what the question is, the other side doesn't. But now they're going to see our guy write down one letter at a time until we tell him to stop. He might write the letter, I might say, what's it taste like? And he might say, write down the letter, S and then O. And I'm going to go, stop. Okay, maybe we're going to assume he means sour or something. But the other team has no idea. They're like, S-O, what is that? But then they're trying to find the same answers, but they're going to have different questions. So then we're going to see their person giving their clues, answering their question, trying to get both teams, one of the teams, to answer what the item is or guess the item. So it's really a lot of fun, because sometimes you could be going down a wrong track of thinking, ooh, I might know what this is. But you're looking at what their words are coming up compared to what you think you're looking for. Sometimes they'll back that up. Sometimes their words that you see are going, how does that fit with what I'm thinking, which means I'm probably way off, or they're doing something on purpose to throw us off. And so it's a really interesting game, Phantom Inc. Give that a shot at your next party night. Got to play the excellent Lords of Waterdeep again. Such a great game. I always lose this game, but it is so much fun and I really enjoy it. It's another one of those I need to get to play at the table a lot more. I mentioned Excalibur, played that again. That one's sitting right here. I'm pointing to it on camera. Yep, right there where my finger is. That beautiful, crazy box with the metal swords. Don't take it on the airplane. You've been warned. Anyways, Excalibur, great party game. Also played Seven Wonders.
Baggage.
Check baggage, right. Yes. Not your carry-on.
Because there's a
warning in the box.
Yeah, warning. Yep.
They have a warning in the box. Warning, TSA.
So I would probably say that usually stuff like that is for a reason. So I bet one of the designers or the producers or, of the game, that happened to them. So they're like,
probably headed to a trade show or something. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a small box. I would throw it in my carry-on.
Yeah. They're probably going to like a play test or who knows what, or production samples. Yeah. They went bye-bye.
So, all right. So finally played Seven Wonders Dice. It's a little from the Seven Wonders world. It's Seven Wonders, but in dice form. I like the game, but there's a lot of symbology again with this one. And I think trying to learning the game, I think the rules were not really good. I felt like this rule book was really short, but it was not very clear. So we kind of struggled as we went through our first game and kind of figured it out as we went. It's like, oh, this is what they're trying to tell us to do. It was one of those. I would knock the rule book down, give it a thumbs down for the rule book, but the game itself is fun. It's a quick way to play Seven Wonders. Played some more Dominion. Then I also played. So I told you that Excalibur I got done, or I'm sorry, that Labyrinth I finished, took it off my table, and replaced it with another game that takes up a lot of table space. And this is Tamashii Chronicle of Ascend. And this is one I bought used that was like played one time. That was basically brand new. And I bought it because it's Awakened Realms. Well, it sat on my shelf, and now the sequel, the next game, is being crowdfunded right now. And I'm like, I can't back this. I haven't even played the first one. But I want to because it's Awakened Realms. So I broke Tamashii Chronicle of Ascend out, played a couple rounds of that. I'm like, okay, I like this. I'm backing it. So, but yeah, this one's set up on my table right now, and I'm playing through that story, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very interesting game of like it's a cyberpunk game, but you are, Rob, you're familiar with Bullet Heart and Bullet Star, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It kind of, part of the game kind of reminds me of that, because you're putting these different colored chips out onto this board, and then you have abilities, you have a character with these abilities, and you're going to pull these chips out of a bag and place them on your board. And then you have an ability or a step in the game where you program. So you're going to move these things around to try to make patterns, much like Bullet Heart or Bullet Star. And then you're going to do those to get like certain abilities or certain assets, as they call them, like shields or reroll of a dice or rolling extra attack dice, or getting memory chips, which allows you to upgrade things and stuff. So you're doing these things, going through like this little campaign, this storyline, exploring this map, which is tiled map, and everything. You got to walk and then flip it over, and you could end up going into combat with enemies, and they're gonna attack you. So you're rolling these enemy dice and your dice, and you're having this combat. It's fun. I'm really enjoying this game, and so I'm looking forward to getting through this campaign. It's going to take me a little while, but it's set up and it's going to stay there till I finish. So Tamashii Chronicle of Ascend is a really good game. And then the last one I played this week, played it last night, was Brass Birmingham. And, it's interesting. I'm going to share a little story with you real quick, and then I'll turn the time over to Rob. Rob already heard this, but so I played Brass Birmingham once, probably a year ago. And what I remember of the game was I didn't get it. Like, it didn't make sense to me. But it was something there was there. And I'm like, I ended up buying it. In fact, I bought that. And I also bought Brass Lancashire. I bought both of them at the same time, straight from Roxley, bought them off their site, bought the deluxe editions. Hadn't played them until last night. I still haven't played Lancashire. But we played Birmingham again last night. At the end of the night, I'm like, why did I buy these games? I'm like, I still don't get it. I still don't. For some reason, this game is not clicking with me. I cannot get the concepts, what you need to do. It is just not clicking in my brain. I don't understand it. So late last night, I canceled my Brass Pittsburgh crowdfund because why am I buying this? I've got these two. I don't need two of them, and it's really dumb to buy a third one if I'm really not enjoying this. So I canceled it. I was like, yeah, good job, Mark. Good job. Saving money, not wasting money. Woke up this morning, and the very first thing that came to my mind for some reason is this is how sick I am. If I don't buy Brass Pittsburgh, it'll be the only game from Roxley that I do not have in my library. So I quickly grabbed my iPad, went to Game Out, re-supported it. Nice. And I made it under the timeline because it was in that end thing. Like, it was getting extended every 10 minutes. It should have expired yesterday before I even canceled it, but I was able to re-get it.
Phew, close one.
All because I have every game Roxley has made, or at least that is available on their website to own. I should look and see if there's stuff that's like previously out of print or something that they have printed. I need to do that. But yeah, so every printed game that they have right now available, I have now. I've saved that streak.
That's too funny.
So, but I didn't go all in. I did, and I didn't even know this. So the Iron Clays, I had that's these really nice poker chips that Roxley is known for. So I knew that my Brass Birmingham copy had those, and opened them and used them last night. Well, I just opened my Lancashire. They're in there too. I didn't even know that. So I'm going to keep those out and use them for other games, and maybe stop buying metal coins for everything.
No, you won't.
I say that, but I will say this. I had pre-ordered or backed the Iron Clays. They have a metal version. Oh, did you look at those, Rob?
For Pittsburgh?
For Pittsburgh? They have the Iron Clays, but they also now have metal versions. Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. I originally backed them, but they were $100. So I did back out of that because I'm just like, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
But they are gorgeous.
Yeah, because when I backed Pittsburgh, well, when it first came out, or at least the crowdfunding did, I had to go and look to see what I did for Birmingham and Lancashire because I wanted the new version to have the same stuff.
Yes.
So Thankfully, for my wallet, I didn't go crazy with the original versions that released when I backed those. So I got the like regular deluxe version, I think, for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Not the really cool one, but those coins do look really good. They look really good.
I'm probably going to regret not buying them because they're probably just going to go up in price, but I don't need them.
Yeah.
But I want them.
If it's a game that you really enjoy, like for my example, Castles of Burgundy, if there were like really cool coins in there and I played it a lot, then yeah, that makes sense.
Well, the cool thing I will say about this is like these iron clays are nice. It's just $1, right? It's a poker chip with a $1, a 5, a 10, and a 20. Like you can use them in any game that has those denominations.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell, I think, bigger sets of these off their site. The metal ones are going to be the same thing. You can use them in other games. And I was watching another YouTuber gamer justifying buying them by saying, just think if you buy these for $100, you don't have to buy any metal coins for any other game
until the next game comes out.
But a lot of people use these iron clays for like all their money for all their games. And if you did that, then you could buy one metal set and be good. Or you could buy these poker chips, which these are really good. They are very nice quality. So, but enough of that.
Yeah. I was going to say, you can get some pretty cool looking stuff on Etsy that you can use.
True.
Like in any game, but we don't.
We don't.
We don't do that.
Because I want it in the box. It's like I want to take my one box with everything in it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, because years ago, there was this cool trend to buy like really elaborate poker chip sets. Like actual poker chips. And use those for games. So, instead of using the little cardboard chits, discs, whatever you want to call them, you have these really nice, like beautiful clays or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was it was always a hassle to do that. And still it was a lot easier just to use the ones that came with it, the upgraded ones. But anyway. All right. For me, I got 2 games in. I did Tricky Traders, of course, that I did the unboxing for. And then I was thinking about it when I did the unboxing. I'm like, I need to do like a playthrough of this thing once I get some playtime in with it. And I did that. So look on our YouTube channel for both of those. There's an unboxing and a playthrough where I play the first day of the game. So it's like the first round, I guess. Yeah, first round. And then so that's a pretty cool little game. It's a 2-player game where you have these market stalls. There's 7 of them in a circle. And you have customers, you have characters, which there's like a jester, a steward, Pied Piper, and then there was 2 other ones. And then you have a whole bunch of rats on there as well. There's 4 rats in each tile. And then the whole premise of this game, and this was really interesting to me, the whole premise of this game is you're basically playing, in your hand, you have 16 cards, and the card that you play manipulates the characters on the board or on the market stalls. And for example, it'll move rats around, it'll move the characters around, customers around. And ultimately your goal is at the beginning, you draw 2 cards and you're trying to manipulate the characters and rats and customers on the board or on the market stalls so that one of your 2 tiles has the most fame and then the other one has the least amount of fame. And your opponent is trying to do the same thing, and you can sabotage them. Like if you see that they're trying to build up fame on a particular tile, then you just kind of put the kibosh on that and steal their stuff or send some rats over there. And it's really an interesting game. It is a little, I don't say difficult, but at first you really need to play this game a couple of times, I think, in order to fully get it, because in the beginning you're like, this is just too overwhelming, just moving, like I have to pay attention to the characters, the customers, the rats, and you really don't know how everything interacts together. But then once you play it a couple of times, it's no problem. And really fun game. Definitely enjoyed it. It's a good 2-player game, and check it out. Check out our videos that we have on it. And then I also got an oldie but a goodie, Cartographers, to the table. This is set in the, what's it called? Role player universe. And it is kind of like it's like a polyomino, put stuff on a board in a particular orientation, and you've got, different kind of biomes, and you're trying to match cards that are on the table. So like, particular pattern and such. And one thing that's really interesting about this is if you enjoy this game or if you're curious about it, check out some of the images that are on BGG of their boards or their player sheets, whatever you want to call it. Because what you do is you write, on the particular squares, you write like a little forest, not a forest, right? A forest. You put the little symbols, which is a bunch of trees, or you put fields in, and some people get so creative. I mean, my stuff is so rudimentary. Like if you do a creature, I just do a circle with like horns on it. I forgot what the creature is called, but and the trees are just circles with like a little line underneath. So they're like stick trees almost. And there's people that just, they go all out with, colored pencils. They are a work of art. Let me just put it that way. So check it out. It's pretty cool. And so that's only 2 things I got out there. And that's about it. So how can you contact us? I mentioned earlier, leave us a comment on our YouTube channels, on the podcast as well. And also we've got a guild, oddly enough, called This Board Game Life on BGG. And we have a blog called This Board Game Life on BGG. And you can contact us there or go to our website, thisboardgamelife.com. And over there you can contact us as well. So, all right, let's get over to the news. So I saw you dropped a couple of these in there before I did. You want to take yours first?
Sure. So Fantasy Flight has announced that they're discontinuing the latest iteration of its veteran dungeon crawler Descent, citing rising manufacturing costs, global economic shifts, and the expense of developing the game's companion app. They launched Descent Legends of the Dark 5 years ago as a successor to its popular 2005 release, Descent Journeys in the Dark, and a more streamlined second edition from 2012. All 3 games featured large amounts of plastic miniatures, cardboard terrain pieces, and map tiles, while Legends of the Dark also leaned into an integrated companion app to help manage campaigns and individual scenarios. A statement from FFG announcing the end of the game said, "Simply put, the game is too expensive to make. Between ever-increasing manufacturing costs, lengthy and pricey app development timelines, and global economic shifts making everything more expensive to produce, it became abundantly clear that continuing to make this game is just not feasible. This is far from the outcome we wanted. Again, we all love this game and hope to see it grow for years to come, but even if we were to sell every last copy, we would still ultimately be doing so at a loss. In a fiercely competitive board game industry, that simply isn't sustainable, and because of circumstances outside of FFG's control, there are no adjustments we could make that could lower costs enough to continue printing the game." So that is,
That's annoying. Sorry.
Yeah.
It just okay, I'm going to go on a little mini rant. Rant. So one of the things that really annoys me is the companies that come out with updated releases of the games. And I have the original Descent. I have the second release of Descent. I have the latest, the 5-year-old release as well. So I have all three of them. And I kept rebuying them because Descent is a good game. And then I remember with this whole app thing that this was like, this is cool. You have this app that's, helping the game along. It was a novelty at the time. It was like, you want to buy this game because this is really cool. And now they're citing that is the reason why they're going to kill the game, or one of the reasons. And I mean, I don't know fully, what app development costs are. And, I'm guessing they probably farmed it out to a third party, which is probably charging them a lot. And, I wouldn't say that they're really adding like a whole ton of content to this. It's more about trying to keep the games from breaking as new OSs come out for the phones and the tablets and stuff like that. I'm guessing that's probably the reason why they did that. But, it's just irritating to me that something that is like a huge selling point for the game is one of the reasons why they're killing it. And, maybe this has something to do with Fantasy Flight not being Fantasy Flight. And when I say that, I mean not the original Fantasy Flight of years past. They're now an Asmodee company, which is totally different. I think company-wise, they are not the same company. It's the same company by name, but far from it with anything else. If they were, if they didn't sell out to Asmodee, I really wonder, would this have happened? So, not surprising, they're discontinuing some other product lines as well. And, I think Legends of the Dark, Journeys in the Dark, and the original, great games, but it's irritating to me. It was irritating to me to buy the new versions. And I even bought an upgrade kit for the second one. And now to basically have them all be legacy games. And the thing that would really suck is when I say legacy games, I mean games that are no longer supported. And if they do something with this game, like let's say they take the app off of the store, like how is that going to be doable? Like if you ever get a new device or something like that, you're stuck. Because I know for some of the games that have had apps that have been killed off, one of the things that people have done is like, I've got it in this old device and I need to keep this old device. Like this old tablet, because that's the only way I can play it. But anyway, just annoying. I'm sorry to see them killing it off because it's such a great game, but oh well. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, it happens, I guess. It is sad. So this is one I don't get, but financially troubled board game publisher CMON says it plans to relaunch its halted crowdfunding operations later this year after seeing its annual losses soar to almost $20 million in 2025. They pulled the plug on crowdfunding and new game development a year ago, citing economic uncertainty created by the U.S. tariff hikes, which at the time had reached 145% for China, where the vast majority of hobby board games are manufactured. But a month later, it emerged that CMON's financial problems had been growing long before the tariffs. See, I said this before. They were just pointing a finger instead of looking at themselves and their bad management. They just try to blame it elsewhere on tariffs, and that had nothing to do with it. Anyways, with the company announcing it had slumped to a loss of more than $3 million in 2024, then 19.9 in 2025. They basically had kind of halted all that, and I think Rob, I think you just mentioned about CMON. I think you'd mentioned something about, maybe I'm hearing things in my head, but anyways, they sold off a bunch of their franchises.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah. Well,
now
Tycoon picked up a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. So
Tycoon
now
games.
they're, let's see, where is it? Let me get to this is a long article. So the company's remaining significant IPs include Massive Darkness series, with the most recent installment, Massive Darkness Dungeons of Shadowreach, completing a $2.85 million crowdfunding game found early last year, which did rise to 3.7. The campaign was CMON's last before it scrapped future crowdfunding plans 2 months later. The company has pivoted in the interim, releasing several small box games directed detail, including Collect, Peanuts the Talent Show, Berry Perfume, Rocket Punch, and Yoki Carnival. All right. So, but discussing its current strategy in this report, the company said, in light of the continued uncertainty in the global market, particularly the instability arising from U.S. import tariffs on certain products since the first, so they're still holding on to that, so that, they want somewhere to blame. The group has taken decisive steps to restructure its operation and strengthen its financial position. So their current strategy is to reduce exposure to large-scale crowdfunding launches in the near term, focusing on fulfillment of games already committed to backers, with plans to resume crowdfunding activities in the second half of 2026 with new titles from current game lines. So let me just finish reading the other three strategies. 2, grow distribution in Asia as a primary strategic market. 3, maintain a streamlined operational structure with reduced headcount and a smaller office footprint in line with the group's current scale of operations. And lastly, maintain a debt-free position following the full repayment of bank borrowings, significantly reducing the group's financial liabilities, improving its financial resilience. Rob, I got to ask you, would you say it's your favorite game of all time or something you've been dying to see? If the CMON name is attached to it, are you going to crowdfund it at this point?
Probably not.
Yeah. There is no way I would.
Yeah.
Consumers have lost money because of them. And when they're still holding on to this excuse of, well, it's tariffs, that's what hurt us. No, you had problems long before that, and
yep.
I'm sorry, tariffs is part of doing business. Other countries do it all the time, but because the U.S. implemented them, all of a sudden it's a problem. Like, there's tariffs in the UK. You've been paying those forever. So, it's all part of doing business. And I have absolutely no trust and faith in this company at all. And I can't believe they're going to go back to crowdfunding. And I really hope people pay attention and, I don't want to see them get supported. I really don't. I think this is ridiculous. It's like, oh, we screwed up. We're going to blame someone else, but we're going to go back to the well and take more money out of our customers' pockets, with still no guaranteed of delivery. That's just insane. So
I think the big risk for anybody would be that, they've had some time now, a couple of years of hardship, right? For whatever reason.
Yep.
Right. And they still have a whole bunch of outstanding games. Like I'm up on their, what do you call this? This is like the project updates page on their website. So they have 1, 2, 3 games that are late. And then they have one that's up in Q2 2026, which is right now. It's not even in, looks like it might be in mass production right now. So that one's late. And then the other three, who knows? Those are slated for later this year, or actually, no, there's another one, Q2 2026. It's still proofing files. So that one's definitely not going to make Q2 2026. So anyway, they've got a bunch of games that are behind. They have financial troubles, and they're going to do Kickstarters. There's some discussion that's been had over the years that there's companies that basically use Kickstarter as a pyramid scheme, where this current project or campaign is going to pay for the one from last year. And they have to keep coming out with new projects, new campaigns to pay for the stuff that they've already committed to. Why does that happen? Mismanagement, people taking too much money. I don't know. Not forecasting properly. But, if there's a game that was in retail that was, already going out through distribution, I would buy that. But I would be leery of dropping, 100 or more on a game, knowing the company's condition, because it could be just their last gasp, valiant effort to revive the company that may or may not work. And it's like, at this point, I would think that anybody that pledges for them, that's a risk that they're taking, and they might lose that money.
Well, that's the thing that, they have. So they say in the second half of this year, which we're already one quarter down, so we only got a third of the year left to get into the second half. Oh, yeah. They're going to start doing crowdfunding again. They have 8 crowdfunding projects, according to the status page, that they are still currently working on and haven't delivered. Yeah, I'm with you. There is no way that I would give them any money except at a retail store. You're right. Retail, fine, buy it there. But absolutely no way would I crowdfund anything from CMON at this point. I mean, if they had all their previous crowdfunded stuff taken care of, and they had either sold off and other, and some things have been sold off, and I don't even know what the status of those are. Like the Zombicide IP has been sold off. I believe they had some crowdfunding there. That's not even listed. So I don't know if who took over the Zombicide IP is going to continue to do that project. Did it get canceled? I don't have all that information, but CMON still has 8 that are not done. And they're going to let's go get more money. They should have finished these, get themselves right with their customers, get some other stuff out into retail to, and then start over. But yeah, to come at us for more money when you are that far behind and not that many commitments already, bad call in my opinion. All right. Next, on to good news, Mechs versus Minions. This is a game that was produced by League of Legends and Riot Games, who made League of Legends. And I don't remember who originally printed this, but Riot Games is partnering now with Incredible Dream for a 10th anniversary edition of Mechs vs. Minions. This one hits me a little weird because I just a few months ago acquired a copy of this game. I didn't pay a lot of money for it. The game originally, when this first came out, was $75. Yep. And I only paid $100 for it,
which at the time was like ridiculous. Let me explain that. It's a lot of money. Yes, it was not necessarily, or for what you got and the amount of minis and stuff like that. That game was a steal.
Oh yeah, it was.
That was why it was such a big deal back then, and it was a good game.
Yes. So part of me is like, oh, I just finally got it. I haven't had the chance to. I played it once, but I haven't. That's what I'm like. Oh, this game's awesome. I need a copy of this, and found out it's out of print. Was able to get a high quality used copy, like it's practically brand new. They did play it a little bit, only a couple missions, hasn't been all played, but I got this, and it's like, okay, this is something I want to get through. And now it's like getting a reprint. And I'm like, oh man, does this mean? And my concern is what's going to be in this, because it's a 10th anniversary edition. I'm like, if you put any new content in it, it's going to make me feel like I've got to buy it. So I don't know. We should, Rob, I really think we should talk about, reprinting of games. I just think we should have a talk about that someday. But yeah, so if you have been looking for this, or, keep in mind, that this is coming, and we don't know what the price is going to be. You might want, maybe this is going to be a good thing for me, because I got this game for $100. Now, maybe I would imagine reprinting this just as it is today, you're probably looking at a lot more money than that. I would imagine this thing's going to come out at $200, Yeah, probably. But so maybe it's going to be like, sweet, I already got this game. There's no new content I need to buy. Beautiful, I'm set. And where if I hadn't acquired it, then I'm going to have to kick out, 200 bills for it. Again, I don't know what it's going to cost, but I would imagine it's going to be a lot more than the original on today's market prices and unknown financial markets and blah, blah, blah. So, but yeah, if you're interested in Mechs versus Minions, it's going to get a reprint. Let's see, they said, when will this, they announced it. That's going to be, the details on pricing, pre-sales, and production will be announced later this year. Although the press release does state that Incredible Dream will publish it globally with product expansions to meet different player needs. So, if they crowdfund it, then I might pick up some maybe additional expansions. Maybe I can buy that without buying the base product again. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated. And last thing I've got, which actually is going to lead into something Rob's got, the Op Games was going to release Flip 7 Deluxe. It's a new version of the original game that went to retail June 1st, 2026. Wait, I'm sorry. I read that completely wrong. Flip 7 Deluxe, a new version of the original card game, will be released to retail June 1st of 2026. So you've heard me talk about Flip 7. You've heard me talk about the Grinch version. You've heard me talk about With a Vengeance. This is going to be the original game, but with all foil cards. So this deluxe edition is going to have foil cards, all of them.
Fancy. It's
also going to come with a score pad to help players keep track of who's winning and how many games they've won in a row. This is going to retail for $18 US. So, but
when I saw this, I was thinking, I'm like, I hope they don't have like something ridiculous, like huge cards or something.
All foil. So, I think foil cards are kind of neat, but not really when you're playing with them, because depending on lighting and stuff, they can be hard to read sometimes.
Yeah, I imagine it'd be like some kind of border or something, or who knows.
Maybe. I'll have to take a look at it when they come out.
Yeah. So speaking of Flip 7, the greatest card game of all time, that's their little moniker that they have on their game. They've come out with a whole bunch of versions recently. So there's original. There was the Grinch Vengeance? Was that the...
Yeah, Grinch, and then With a Vengeance.
With a Vengeance. And now the Deluxe. So technically that's the fourth version. But wait, there's more. There's 4 more Flip 7 games coming out to retail.
Oh my goodness.
Later this year. So in July of 2026, you can get Hello Kitty Flip 7. Later on this year in August, Nightmare Before Christmas. I would have figured that would have released closer to the holiday season. And The Grinch, which is already out. And then the fourth one is going to be an American National Park version. So that's going to be the first one of the bunch out in June of this year. So, yeah, you can take your pick. And this really reminds me of Love Letter a little bit, because once Love Letter became a hit, then they started coming out with all these different versions of it. So take your pick of 7 different versions that are going to be out. Next up, we've got Labyrinth, which we talked about at the beginning of the show with the Chronicles version. And I was going to say, Mark, if you're up for some more Labyrinth gaming, there's going to be a K-pop Demon Hunters version coming out this year. But that is going to be, more old school. It's not going to have the Chronicles treatment, but you can look for this one coming out to retail in later this year for $29.99. That's a lot cheaper than the Big Chronicles edition. And this is coming out in Q3.
Did you know there were so many different versions of Labyrinth?
Yeah. I don't fully know how many, but yeah.
Well, I went to Ravensburger page. It looks like there's so the actual Labyrinth board game, not the wooden or mechanical ones. Let's see, -4. So it's like 13 different Labyrinth board games, not counting the one you just talked about. There's Pokemon, Labyrinth Junior, Spidey and His Amazing Friends, Bluey,
Super
Minecraft,
Mario.
all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
What they need is this board game life, Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Just saying. Anyway,
let's make it happen. Make it so.
So the K-pop Demon Hunters, which apparently is a Netflix show, it's going to feature the singers Rumi, Mira, and Zoe from there, 2 to 4 players. Anyway, cool thing, just in case you're interested in some more goodness there. AEG is coming out with a new card game called Assemble. It's a superhero card game by Remo Canzadori and Stefano Negro. So this is going to be coming out later this year. And interesting thing about it is it's going to have a retail of $12.99. So I'm really imagining it as a small, super small game, deck of cards basically. So look for this one. That's going to hit retail on August 21st. I imagine it's probably going to have some presence over at Gen Con, which makes sense. AEG likes to have their games release right around there, or they kind of position things so the games release either at Gen Con or shortly before or after. And then I think I got one more. Yep. Handelabra Games went and acquired some of the leftovers from Greater Than Games, because Greater Than Games shut down. It was Flat River Group, I think, that had them. They shut them down. What was that, last year? Or the year before. Anyway,
so.
Yeah, they got shut down, and that was in a slew of companies that shut down. Like, it was right around the time that the tariff stuff started. But Handelabra is picking up the brand and Sentinel Comics. So the thing is, they want to keep that IP alive. They did not pick up Spirit Island, which was also Greater Than Games IP. So one of the things that's interesting about this is that Handelabra is they're a digital company. not traditional tabletop physical games. And they had a press release that disclosed the deal. And they said they're not interested in becoming an actual tabletop publisher. The primary reason for making this deal was to protect their digital business by adding the Sentinel Comics IP to their portfolio. And they hinted at outsourcing the tabletop versions of Sentinel Comics games to a third-party publisher. So, this was something that they just wanted to keep their IP alive, and they picked it up probably for a really good price. But
I see this in All Plays Future.
Yeah.
It seems like they're doing all kinds of deals with other...
Mm-hmm.
They're publishing stuff from other companies and stuff a lot lately, it seems like.
Yeah, because they're Flat River, if I remember right. Anyway, so that's it for the news, and let's get on over to the main topic.
The main topic.
Yeah, we need to have some snazzy sound bites or soundboard or something like that.
I'll get on that. I'll figure out something.
In the day. Yeah, we did have that. What was that for, though? That was before we used the current platform.
Yeah, we had stingers way back in the day.
Yeah.
So
anyway, so the title of the game is Reprint versus Reboot, and we talked a little bit about that in some aspects, where there's a lot of companies, just like in movies, they are bringing back and, redoing movies from years prior. TV shows get rebooted as well in various forms. And, they kind of do the same thing with board games and in different avenues. Thank you. Ask and you shall
I guess
receive.
We have some built into the platform.
Yeah. That was loud. Anyway.
Sorry. Oh, was it? I'm so sorry.
No, not super. No, I've got my audio loud on my headphones. Anyway, so there's a lot of companies that, are doing this in different aspects, right? Because there's some companies like Roxley, like we had discussed, they have the brass games, first Lancashire and Birmingham and now Pittsburgh. Some are reprints, some are sequels. We talked about Descent. They had Descent 1, Descent 2, and Descent 3. Now no Descent, technically. Other companies will take and modernize a game. They'll take an old game and then redo it, change the theme. Other companies just do straight up reprints. And that creates a lot of questions, a lot of concerns, a lot of rage with certain things. And, let's talk about, first off, as the title of the show goes, Reprint versus Reboot. Do you have, what are your opinions on a company just doing a straight up reprint of a game?
I like it for the aspect of, a reprint. So are you stating
that's
that
the most basic,
basically
version.
Just the original version, just putting it back into the retail space? So
Sure.
that,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I would rather have a remake of it. So the reason I say that would be something like Puerto Rico. To reprint the original, and I know you can find it in retail, like my store has copies on the shelves. The not the special edition, but you know, I think if a game is out, it's old enough, then it should get a modern replacement. So I don't want. I'd like the art to be updated, not especially if it's like a Euro game. I think of Castles of Burgundy. The original game was brutal. Some of the colors were so like the yellow and the beige. It's like, really? Like they still have yellow and beige, which is ridiculous. But at least in the special edition, you can tell the difference between the two colors. Unlike the original game, you're like, which one's yellow, which one's beige? So I don't want a straight out reprint. And I think reprints are a reprint or getting something that's out of print back. I think it needs to be refreshed, I guess. So it can be a reprint by not changing rules, not adding content, but refresh it with a more maybe of a updated look, better coloring, taking into thought that maybe back when it was originally printed, they didn't think of colorblind issues. So making changes so people that are colorblind can now enjoy the game. Maybe improving the components and the quality of the overall game. I'm fine with that aspect. That's why I say I'd rather have like not necessarily a flat out reprint, but a refresh of it, update those, but you don't have to change the game.
Right.
Like the Puerto Rico or the Castles of Burgundy. We both have those special editions. I came into the game late. Now, I will say for someone like myself that's newer into the franchise, may not want to spend that much money on an older game. So it'd be nice. I think it's nicer to have a refreshed reprint that doesn't maybe not deluxeified so that it can reach more people, but also, deluxeify it too. Give us both options.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. And I think of this. So there's a couple ways you can take this. Number one, if there's a game that's been around for a long time, some people would argue, like if a game came out, let's say in 2010, so 15, 16 years ago, if the game was truly good, it would not have gone out of print. So there's the camp that'll basically say that the game's worth, if it's worth reprinting, it would have been in continuous print the entire time. However, companies do go out of business and stuff does just fade away. Like, for example, one game that I really enjoy, and I think you do too, is Downfall of Pompeii. This is a game that's super old. It's a really fun game.
It's
good play nowadays, but it's been out of print since I think the most recent edition was 2013, something like that.
I would love a special edition of that.
Yeah, exactly. But this is where people would argue. It's like if this game was really great, it would be in continuous print that entire time. It wouldn't have disappeared 13 years ago. It would be like where is it, like I don't know if it's in the frame, Ticket to Ride. I got it right over there. Like my version, we were talking about this, I think last show, it said 1.1 million games sold, and this is like a 15-year-old version.
Yeah, I think it's over 30 million now or something like that.
Yeah. So there we go. Actually, no, I don't think it's in frame. I don't see it in my little scrunched up screen. But, there's some people that would argue if it's worth it, it would have been in continuous print. But there's various factors that would definitely, make that not happen. One thing that is definitely a case, and you brought up Castles of Burgundy, that one's had several versions. Like there was an anniversary edition where they did change it up a little bit. It's not the special edition. They changed it up a little bit, and I've never played that one. I do struggle with the 23 Shades of Brown in the original release. I think when they printed it, they got a special deal from the printer that said, "Hey, we've got all this brown, all these shades of brown. We'll give you a special deal if you use them." And they did. But I'm just joking with that. Don't quote me, as I'm spreading rumor. Anyway, they take a game and then they switch it up to some degree, but it's largely the same game. And then they came out with the special edition version, which I'll say is like a super deluxeified. I don't know if I would count that one as like a straight up reprint.
Yeah, that's a special thing. Definitely. Like, I think when they do those, I would like to see, like, it'd be nice to see, and maybe they did it, maybe I just bought the high end, but was there like Castles of Burgundy special edition that was more of a base version of more of just the game without like a new printed board and but without all the, acrylic tiles and without the minis?
Of the special edition, there was what we'll call like the base / retail edition, which, it still did have some deluxe components, but it didn't have, like the acrylic tiles or the 3D tiles. Stuff wasn't sun dropped.
Right.
Didn't have the play mat, and I can't even think of all the other stuff that was included in that. So when you do see the game at retail, that is like, didn't we? I thought we covered on the news that they were coming out with. No, I'm thinking of Grim Coven, because they had like a retail edition that was going to be out for like $120. But they did have, at least I've seen it in stores, the Castles of Burgundy special edition, and it is just like the base box. But
yeah, I'm looking up the campaign now because I'm curious, because that might fit that need of just the, because it would be nice, like when they do these big special editions, that they're bringing an older game to market, to also have the kind of very trimmed down base game that your more budget minded consumer can still purchase, of a game that's out of print, and not be forced to spend hundreds of dollars to get this big gigantic version, but having that big gigantic version for people like you and I that want that. But sometimes I can get, that's what that is. And then it's like, yeah, but what about, I want that base version for everybody to have access to back in retail.
That does create a whole separate problem when they have those special editions like Castles of Burgundy or even Puerto Rico. If you have this game that's this massive game, expensive is the key word, I guess. It's difficult for stores to stock.
Yeah.
Because maybe they'll do it on special order basis, but they're not going to buy 5 copies of a $200 game. At least most places won't, just because it's so expensive. Maybe that's changed slightly now, because I know some of the stores around here, in particular, the one with the animal in the name that you and I talk about once in a while, they would have Kickstarter versions, and it would be like $130, $50 for the release, and then they had all the Kickstarter stuff because they used to buy Kickstarter, participate in Kickstarters a lot. That is more the exception to the rule than than that. But yeah, just think about it, like a small, friendly neighborhood game store, like to have $1,000 tied up in inventory with like 5 copies of a game, 4 copies of a game that's tough, especially when most of your customers, if they're really into that game, they probably kickstarted it or probably got it online or something like that. And you're just going to have that thing sitting on the shelf and probably have to sell it at a loss eventually.
Yeah, and see here, I'm looking at this Game Found, which for the special edition of Castles of Burgundy, this came out. So this was like what? This was for a game to ship in April of 2023. So this was probably early 2022 when this went up.
Maybe,
and
yeah.
the classic pledge, like the quote base game as we're calling it with no miniatures, is still $90
Yeah.
for the Castles of Burgundy. So it's like that's still not where it should be. Like that's not, I don't think that's a retail, because that's $90 3 years ago.
Yep.
That would now be 120 to 150 for that base game.
Yep.
That's still too much for like you think about your original game of Castles of Burgundy. How small of a box did that come in? That was probably a $30 game back then.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, it was.
You could make this for like $50.
Yeah, it originally came in an Aaliyah sized box, which is what they used to be called. So it's not the square ones like any of these over here. It's the more rectangular, tall ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all.
But it still's not really meeting like that retail, an edition for everybody. So doing like Awakened Realms, doing this
size.
Yeah.
The rectangular.
But see, that's more of, that I want to see I like to see a version of these when they do a reprint, or if it is out of print and you're going to bring it back, there should be a base version of that game that's from like mass market, and then also having a deluxeified version like these special editions that some of us want. That's what I would like to see. And I think this $90 version 3 years ago is still too deluxeified for that mass market of Castles of Burgundy. It's a fantastic game,
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Puerto Rico had one as well. So now, see, this is better. They had Puerto Rico. You can get just the standard pledge, they call it. It is a standard version of the special edition. So you get like you're still getting wooden workers and crates and cardboard coins and ships. But this is $59. That is better. See, that's what I like. Now I bought my big multi-$100 copy, but I could have got this game for $59. That's what I want to see with doing reprints. They modernized it. They improved the art. They upgraded some of the components so that it is nicer, but you got a big crazy version, and then you also got a retail version, which is more reasonable for people to purchase. For those that are maybe newer to the thing, like for me, I'm newer, so I don't have this draw to some of these older games and the way they used to be. I like the new shiny stuff,
Sure.
And even if I'm not into metal coins, I'm still like going to look at the older artwork of the older version of Puerto Rico and compare it to the newer version. The newer box, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna stand out to me more, just because of the way it looks and the updates that it has gotten in that in that art department.
No, I think like right now, as we're talking about it, you're in a different time frame. Like, you got into the hobby, what, 2-3 years ago?
About 3, yeah.
Yeah. And you can kind of think of it like looking forward into things. So like, let's say like, a game that you really enjoy, like I can't think of anything other than like Excalibur. Like I know you
Planet
enjoy.
Unknown.
Yep. Okay. Planet Unknown. Perfect. If 12 years from now they reprint Planet Unknown and they totally change it up, how are you going to feel about that? It's hard to conceptualize because you don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll update the rules. Maybe they'll go, well, we're going to take the Planet Unknown and then retheme it into, I don't know, some like soft serve ice cream. I don't know.
Ice cream unknown.
We're running a Dairy Queen or something. And it's
not
like
a sponsor of this Board Game Life.
Yeah, it's like, there you have this game that to some degree is the same, but it's not. Or, you know what? Maybe a better example is Azul. So Azul is abstract, and you enjoy Azul, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fun game, easy to pick up. We've played tons of games of this. Well, not you and I, but individually. What if all of a sudden they retheme it? And
they've done that already a million times. There's the chocolate edition. There's the summer pavilion. There's the
a little different than that. Like, what if they retheme it for Dairy Queen? No, that's a bad example.
I think, but I know what you're saying. So
it's not going to be the same game.
Let's go with this. This works. What you said earlier, Pompeii.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a copy. You've got a copy. Yeah. That's a game that came out when there's nothing special about it. It's a flat board with some cards and some little wooden pegs or little wooden blocks that you put out on the board. The only thing special is you got this plastic thing that you curve to make the volcano. Like, that's it. Now,
and a hole in the board.
Yeah, and a hole in the board. It's very basic. And I think that's what I would have to look at something that I have currently that's very basic and then go, okay, 12, 15 years down the road, they deluxify the crap out of it. It's been out of print, but now it's got all this stuff. How am I going to feel about it?
Because I believe if they reprint Downfall of Pompeii, it will not be the same theme. I don't believe that it'll be the same theme. They will retheme it to something different.
Probably, yeah. You probably couldn't do that today in today's world. It would be considered hateful, probably. Oh, you hate Italians or something stupid like that. I mean, it's a historical
people
game.
Into the volcano as part
it's
of the
such
game.
a great game. I love it. Woo!
Yeah, and it's
but having been there to Pompeii in real life, it's a very tragic thing. And so I think even some people probably can take that today that I've played with. I've had some people didn't like it. And I have a feeling that it was probably because of that. They're just like, oh, this is not, you're throwing people in a volcano. People really died from this, it's, I get it. So it probably would be rethemed, but let's just assume that's all out. That's a very basic game. If they deluxified the crap out of it and re-released it, I would buy it and get everything they could possibly put into that game because I like the game so much.
Oh, yeah.
And it wouldn't bother me. What would bother me is if Puerto Rico, not even that, Tea Garden sitting right behind you.
Okay.
Tea Garden just came out last year. Now, if they came out Tea Garden this year, Tea Garden version 2, the corrected edition, that's where I would have a problem.
Yeah.
Well, we found out that there was something wrong, and so we've corrected it in this brand new second edition. You just released the game a year ago. Like, you can't do that. And I know games have done that, where they have fixed the flaws of the original and then just released it as a second edition, and I think that's garbage, especially when it's that close to the original.
Yeah. And then there's no upgrade path.
Right.
For the people that have the original version.
X-Wing did that.
Yeah.
And they had an upgrade path, but it cost you more money. It's like, really? Like, and I went through that when I had my copy and I went to play and they're like, oh, you got the first edition. You got to buy all this other stuff to get up to be able to play with us. It's like, it's a board game. Like, it just, that concept didn't make sense to me. I'm like, it's a board game. What do you mean I can't play with you?
Mm-hmm.
So that, I'm not a big fan of that type of thing. Now, I do have Zombicide 2nd Edition, but the thing is, that's a standalone game. Like, you could play Zombicide original 1st Edition and be fine. It's just the 2nd Edition streamlined some of the gameplay, changed some of the terms, redid artwork. It didn't necessarily like fix or correct things. They just made some changes or updates to the game. And when I got into it, it was like, okay, well, these both versions are here. I might as well get the latest one.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But had I had the original and then they released the 2nd edition right after it, I think that would have been a problem for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the video game space, there's some of that stuff that was going on. Like, I'm just thinking of Tomb Raider, which, we've talked about previously on this Xbox Live. But it's like, they came out with Tomb Raider, like the updated version of it, not like the one from the 90s, early 2000s, whenever that came out. And so they came out with that, and then all of a sudden they had the definitive edition, and then there was like
the Game of the Year edition. And...
yeah, it's like the same game, just repackaged.
Yeah.
In the board game space, that is, to me, it's annoying. I guess some folks probably don't care. But it's like, if it's a game that you sort of enjoy, you kind of feel like you're missing out if you don't have the
latest, greatest.
Recent, the most recent version. And it's kind of a pain. Now, I'll use another example of a game that you and I played last year or the year before on this board game LifeCon, and that was Level X.
Yes.
So that got recently reprinted as Mountain Goats.
Yes.
And the gameplay is similar-ish, but I don't know. I didn't get Mountain Goats because I don't like how they changed it.
I got Mountain Goats because I can't find Level X. It's out of print.
Yeah, it's like, at that point you have no choice, really.
Yeah.
And
I also got, what is it, Moonleap?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a reprint of one you had that I can't find either.
I think it's Numeri.
Yes, I think that's right. Yep. Sounds right.
Yeah, the Schmidt Easy Play games, they're fantastic. They need to reprint those. As we're talking about reprinting.
They are.
They need to reprint them or have them available in their original form. They're totally abstract. Totally. And you see what they did, what All Play did, and when they reprinted it, is they reprinted it and they added a theme to a themeless abstract game.
Yes.
Because maybe you need that now. I don't know. Maybe there's an expectation of some kind.
I liked Numeri. I don't think it needed the theme.
Yeah.
But the Moon guys are fun. I mean, you're jumping like, it's a nice theme. They did a good job. And the interesting thing here is the box folds out and is the board. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you didn't need to retheme it, but
yeah.
So, and I think I would prefer, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I really liked Level X. I really like Numeri. And for me to get them, I had to buy rethemed things with goats and spacemen jumping on the moon. Like like you said, they weren't themed to begin with. I shouldn't have to buy a themed game to get that content. But
see, what you needed to do
at least I still get the essence of those games because they did make I guess that's a reboot.
Yeah.
If you would.
And honestly, to sell a game nowadays, I think they would have to do it. If they reprinted it straight up the way that it was, because like Level X had it's a board, a square board, and then you had just these little cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody sees that, they're gonna not have any interest in it. But
I'll tell you, my mother loves mountain goats. She loves getting to the top and knocking someone off the top of the mountain.
Okay. You get that with Level X in a different way.
It's not the same. Because you can imagine that little goat's bucking his head and boom, hitting you with his horns, and your other goat goes, ah, to the bottom of the mountain.
So if they reprint Downfall of Pompeii, if they don't have a volcano, it's not going to be the same. No, I get it. I definitely get it. Yeah, and to touch kind of like what you were talking about earlier, that whole thing of the companies going through and having a second edition with totally changed rules, that really bugs me, because there's a couple of companies that I'm not going to name that do that. I'll say regularly, and I really think twice before buying their games, just because that's really annoyed me. And and the thing is, like if they have a rulebook changes, where the rules are significantly changed, it would be nice to be able to buy a new rulebook or something like that, just to have with the game, instead of, hey, here's this box
PDF.
Like this with a rule book that is the same shape as the box, and now here's this PDF that you can print out on your printer in letter or A4 size. No, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Even if I do double-sided printing, it's not the same.
Nope.
But if they reprint stuff, do you think that they should offer upgrade kits?
I think only if the game changes. Like if they're absolutely changing stuff, I think it depends on how old the reprint is. So something like, again, sticking with Downfall of Pompeii, they don't need to offer anything. It's an old game you can't really get anymore. Just reprint it, and it's available for us to buy if we want. Something that more of like Puerto Rico that we just spent a bunch of money on, if they realized something was wrong and did a special edition part 2 or V2, I don't want to have to buy all that again. You better allow me to pay the difference or purchase the whatever the fixes is, if you will, or send them.
Speaking of which, I still don't have my missing components for Puerto Rico.
That's frustrating. That's really frustrating too. And I mean, I get that stuff happens. I always worry about that with my crowdfunding. Like, I'm always paranoid. Like, man, what if the box doesn't show up? What if something happens? What if the truck that it's on gets in an accident and everything's destroyed? Like, what am I going to do? I'm out. There's nothing I can do. It's not the company's fault that made the game. It's not my fault. Who's going to pay for that? How am I going to get another copy? Probably not going to.
Well, in addition to that, by the time you place that order, notice I didn't say pledge, I said order. By the time you place that order for that game, when you get it 2 years later, I don't even know when stuff's showing up. I mean, there's so many times, because when I see my Kickstarter messages, I don't read them.
Yeah.
There's just too many, like some of these companies like send out updates weekly, and it's like I just don't have time to read 14 pages of an update every week. And then 2 years later the game shows up and it's like, oh, you get the shipment coming from Gamerati. Okay, I have no
What's
idea.
that?
I have no idea what that game is. And then it's really like a surprise. Like, oh, this game. I totally forgot I backed it 14 years ago.
I track mine. I've got a games list of things I've backed, the game name, where I backed it from, and the expected date. So even if I buy something from like Miniature Market or Game or Card House or Noble Knight, it's listed, and I'll be like, shipping is the thing, the status. Or if it's from Kickstarter or Backer Kit or GameFound, I say that, and then I say crowdfunded, and I put the date, and then it's sorted, so I know like, okay, this is the next couple games I should be expecting shipping. So usually when I get that generic something is shipped, I can look at it, and if it doesn't tell me what it is, or it's a weird name like that, then I can look at my list and go, okay, this is next in line. And I'll go every once in a while, I'll go look at the updates to see if they've had an update to shipping. Because I'm like you, I delete those messages. If it doesn't say go to the pledge, it doesn't say you need to fill out your pledge manager, I delete it. Because I don't care about the updates other than shipping dates and pledge managers.
Yeah.
And paying my shipping. Those are the only updates I care about.
Yeah. It's like, do I need to complete the pledge or update the address? Actually, update the address. I mean, we've been living in the same places for years. So it's like, I don't even worry about that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And if I ever move, I'm going to go in and like change my address on everything and all the platforms all at the same time. Unless you're not allowed to do that. Maybe you can't. But
yeah, I think in general, like to summarize what we've been talking about, the reprints of games, if it's a game that's been out of print for a long time, that we've got some fondness for it, I think we definitely want to see some, not a whole lot of changes, maybe.
Right.
Or the game stays in the original spirit of the original printing. Versus a total retheme. Like, I think, what was it? Like Portal Games had a game that was it was a Pret-a-Porter was the name of the game. So it was set in like the fashion industry. And there was a lot of folks that had a problem with that because, they don't want to deal with like dressmaking or whatever like that. So when they reprinted it eventually, years later, they totally rethemed it into something that was more friendly to people that they would like more.
Yeah.
But if you like the original game as is, now that's annoying to get that switch. But I know why the company's doing it, because they want something that's more market friendly. They want to sell more copies of it.
Yeah, mass market.
Reprinting a game to fix a game is really annoying to me.
Yes, to me that's a no-no.
So let me ask you this: if they do that and then they totally retheme it and offer it up as a different game, would that make it any better?
No.
So instead of like,
it's still the same mechanics, it's still the same game. You just you reskinned it.
Yeah.
And trying to get me to buy it again.
And probably succeeded.
Probably.
Darn it. They know us too well.
Yeah.
No, but that is a little annoying to me, and I'm less apt to buy that second game. I have in the past, but it's something that I think more Oh, you're typing some stuff.
Just trying to think of a couple things. When we close out the topic, I'm going to throw out my requests. So, because I know there's so many designers and publishers that listen to us, and I want to put these ideas in their head that these are very much desired reprints. So please do them.
Or maybe we need to have This Board Game Life as a publishing company, and we get the rights and reprint. There you go.
Hold on. That means work. I don't want to do any work. I just want to play games. Don't try to make me work, Rob.
See, I was just hoping that I could be the good looks of the company, and then you do all the work. But you're just telling me that you don't want me, or that you don't want to do the part that I need you to do.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll play test. How about that?
Or we can leverage AI. Or we got kids. We can make the kids do all the work.
You're not going to do anything.
It's a disaster. So there's straight up reprints, good or bad for different reasons. There's the reprint and fix. There's the reprint and deluxify. I think we like those. We
like the first and third one, not the middle one. You said we don't like the reprint and fix.
Yeah. Or if they're going to fix it, just make it accessible so that we don't have to totally rebuy it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the box sets? That was another one that I wanted to touch on. So like the big box, which is now the base game plus all of these expansions all in one.
I think I'm not a fan because it seems to be a rarity that I get to play an expansion. Honestly, Castles of Burgundy, big giant box that I got to carry around, I use maybe half of that box because the other half is expansion content that I never touch.
Yeah, it's got the vineyards in there.
Same with Puerto Rico. It's got several expansions that I don't touch. Why am I carrying it around? It's nice for shelf space and nice to have just the one. I've actually started recently. I'm trying to clean my shelves up, and I had all these boxes up there. In fact, I still have a couple right behind this one, right behind me. So these 3 boxes right here that I'm pointing to, that's the Quedlinburg. Well, next to that's the Herb Witches and the Alchemist expansions. Everything is crammed into the first box. I really don't need those other 2 boxes. I need to get rid of them to get shelf space back. So it's nice when everything fits in that main box. But again, if I'm not going to use that content, which Quacks is one of the rare games that I like to play with both expansions. But for a lot of times I don't play with the extra content because it seems like I'm always teaching someone. There's always someone new to the game.
Right.
And I always feel like it's best to learn the base game. So, and unless an expansion resolves a problem in the game or drastically enhances the base, then I'm usually just playing the base game anyway. So for transportation, I'd rather just open the box and use everything in the box. But for storage, it's nice having everything in one box.
Yep.
So there's no right or wrong answer for me on that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, if a game's been around for a long time, it's really alluring to get that big box. But the big boxes are a problem on the shelf a lot.
Yes.
Like I've got the big box for Alhambra and Carcassonne. These are the original ones. They came out forever ago. And they were cool. They were awesome to have. But like you said, I never use those expansions. It's wasted. And Yeah, it's just an interesting thing. And however, if we do have the expansions, it is nice to be able to lump everything. Like some of the companies will sell the empty big box, and it is
Terraforming
nice.
Mars does that.
Yeah, it is nice to have, you know, the space to lump everything together, especially when all the content doesn't fit in the big box, or not the big box, the original games box.
Yeah.
So yeah, we covered that, and then of course, yeah, we've got reprints straight up, reprint and change, reprint and fix. There's the special edition version, the big boxes. I think that's
Then there's
most of it.
Just reboots. Like there's the ones that basically, like you said, completely change the theme, which I think sometimes that's not necessarily a good thing. Like I kind of feel like, I think what's his name, Reiner Knizia and Bitewing Games, I know last year they did a bunch of his games.
Yeah.
And I think almost all of them were basically re-themed games of his that, like, they just changed the themes and resold them, and they've done great. But like, if people already had the original and then you buy this new one and it's like, wait, this is the same game, it's just got new skin on it, that could be very frustrating. But that could also be, like you said earlier, the good thing about it is if it was a theme that I didn't like and then they rethemed it to something like, ooh, I like this, then it allows me to get the game. So, and that actually kind of goes into one of the things I really want to be reprinted, is Battlestar Galactica, the board game. But that's probably never going to happen. First of all, you got to pay for a license. It's an IP. It's going to cost you money to get that license. Number two, that show is not on anymore. It's not, and I don't know how popular it was, but that game is phenomenal. Now, I know I can get this quote game just rethemed as Cthulhu, because Unfathomable is essentially Battlestar Galactica, the board game. It's just themed in Cthulhu universe. And it's not a bad game. I have played it. It's actually a good game. I've thought of getting it, but it's like, it's not what I want. I want that Battlestar Galactica, the board game, because not only do I enjoy, like, Unfathomable is a really fun, you get the same gameplay, but having that theme, the skin of the Battlestar Galactica, speaks more to me as a fan of the show than Cthulhu, which I don't have anything Cthulhu. That's not my theme. I'm not into that stuff. So I'd buy it just to try to get that gameplay, but it's still not going to be satisfying because it's not what I really want. So I still want Battlestar Galactica to come back out.
So
reprint it.
That's kind of like what we talked earlier about, Level X and Mountain Goats. Same thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
I'm glad Unfathomable's there.
Yeah,
but it's not what I want.
So maybe you could have Unfathomable and then just like write in the characters' names.
It's not going to work.
Colonel
like
Ty.
Reprint my own board. Yeah. I have a 3D printer. I'll just start making 3D print of it.
Make a 3D version of Battlestar. That'd be cool.
Yeah, of Galactica. Yeah, with a removable top, so that when they board, you can take the top off and move them around inside. Well, you'd have to have no top on it because you got to move your characters into each of the rooms. So be a half. I'm going to do it. I bet someone out there's got it. I'll have to look that up.
Yep.
So
you want to see that one? Did you mention the other one?
We talked about it earlier. Downfall of Pompeii.
Yeah.
Those are the two that really come to mind that I would really like to see reprinted.
Actually, I would like both of them as well, and I crushed my Downfall of Pompeii box, as I've told you. As I stepped on it. Whoops!
Didn't you say you found? Didn't you get? I thought you got that replaced some.
No,
you didn't.
Nope. And it's fine. I'm not crushed. See what I did there?
No, your boxes.
Yeah, I'm not crushed over my box being crushed. The components are all fine. It's just the corner's a little smushed, a little more smushed than I want it to be. But hey, so yeah, that would definitely be cool. Like we had talked about earlier, I would not want to see either one of those changed. For Downfall
Did you know
of Pompeii,
there's
what?
Did you know Downfall of Pompeii? I was just looking it up. Looks like it might have an expansion.
Yeah.
It came out in 2013.
Yeah, the version that I have has it. It's like 4 extra tiles.
Dancing Flames. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's 4 tiles that come in the game that I take out and I put in the box when I play because I don't play with them.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's like 4 double-sided tiles. The tiles that like you put down when you're doing the second half of the game where the volcano erupts.
Yeah, you could buy it in the English version, the first edition, $55 from the geek market.
Okay.
So it can cost you some money.
Yeah.
The second edition from 2013 would cost you $100 from the geek market. That's 100 Canadian.
So maybe is that around the same? I don't know what the conversion rate is.
I don't know what it is right now, but anyways, $50 to $100 is going to cost you to replace it. So
yeah, so
I don't even know which version I've got, but
yeah, I think you've probably got the second one. That one was a lot more common.
So anything you can think of that you want other than those two to be reprinted? Looking around.
Yeah,
of course, most of the stuff I want reprinted is something I don't have. So
yeah, it's most of the games that that got printed way back when that I really did want, I did acquire. So yeah, I can't really think of anything in particular from the last 10 years that I really feel like I missed out on. Either I wanted it at the time and then I missed out. Oh, well, like oh man, what is the name of that game? Castles of...
Google, help me.
Yeah. The Palaces of Carrara. That was one game that I really wanted. I had it in my hands at Gen Con. And I remember it was like $39 or something like that. And I'm like, I have too many games. Don't read that wrong. I was carrying too many games.
That's what you meant,
in my bag. And I'm like, I'll just get this at retail. Little did I know that it sold out immediately. I came back later looking for it. It was sold out, and Z-Man never reprinted it again.
Oof.
So that was like a one-time printing. I did wind up getting a copy of it later on when Game Crafter or Board Game Brewer, one of them reprinted it. So I snagged it like many years later. But yeah, that was one of the few ones. Yeah, the main ones I think are probably I would like Battlestar because I don't have that one.
Yeah,
I'm fine
and to get that with all the expansions now. You're looking at $1,000.
Yeah, and
it's too much money.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
If anyone out there wants to,
if you got a copy,
Rob or myself, a really good deal. I'm willing to pay. I just ain't paying $1,000. So
Yeah.
I'll even recommend. How about you cut me a deal? I'll mention
Support
you
the
on the
show.
show when I do my unboxing and show it off. And praise be to the person that made me that awesome deal. And yeah. All right.
But anyway, all right. So I think it's about it, right? For the show.
That's it for topic. Let's wrap up our crowdfunding because we had some activity this week.
All right, here I'll take mine.
Boy, did we!
I'll take mine real quick because it's one thing, or is it? Technically, it's three things. I did back 20 Strong, Nemesis, Tainted Grail, and Etherfields. So that just started up a couple days ago.
Yeah,
jumped in on
Tuesday.
Because we have that container thing that they sold a while back, where it's going to fit all the decks, all the 20 Strong decks, and got to fill them up at this point.
Yeah, otherwise we wasted our money on that container, right?
Yeah,
on the Strong box. I also backed 20 Strong, Nemesis, Tainted Grail, and Etherfields as well. And just quick note: if you 20 Strong Nemesis is the first game in the 20 Strong system that is going to be co-op. So you can play, I believe, 3 people in that, which you're going to have to get that Nemesis feel. So I am so excited about that. I did see today, I did actually see something from, I think it was today, they announced that 20 Strong is now available in beta form on BGA. So I think it's Solar Sentinels and Tanglewood's Red. I think you can play those 2 20 Strong games on BGA now. So if you want to check it out, that'll give you an idea of what the 20 Strong system is like. And then I also backed Tamashii, the Final Amendment. So again, I had to put the original game on my table and get it to the table to say, is this worth backing? Because it's from Awakened Realms. So that alone made me want to back it. But I was like, I got to make sure, because I was unsure about the game. And I like it. So I'm backing that one. And then Unstoppable Dungeon Crawler Carl Edition. So if you've been waiting for the Dungeon Crawler Carl games to come out, the RPG and the Unstoppable game are both launched on BackerKit this week. So check BackerKit. I know that it's not one we see GameFound and Kickstarter the most. But if you're looking for that, you find it on BackerKit. So I went with the Unstoppable version, which I have that game. It's great. And this campaign is going to basically retheme it under the Dungeon Crawler Carl. It came out as
isn't it?
It is Dungeon Crawler Carl. The books are fantastic. Book 8 comes out this next month in May, and I can't wait to get it. And they're fantastic, absolutely fantastic books, incredible, and they are available. I've listened to them all through Audible, and they're so good. The dude that does that narration for those books is phenomenal. Absolutely, the guy's done a great job.
Yep.
But so that's what I backed this week. And then, as I mentioned earlier, technically I also backed Brass Pittsburgh because I canceled it and then re-kicked it back on again this morning. So so technically I backed 4 things this week.
There you go.
So, but all right, that's it for me.
I was going to do the Unstoppable DCC version. That's easier to say. But I didn't follow through with it. I'm just going to pick it up when it hits retail.
I would imagine it's going to be
a while, probably.
Well, it's huge. This is so I will give you this, something to think about, Rob. I don't know how many copies of this that they're going to make. And I will say that this is the number 3 biggest crowdfunding they've done on BackerKit. And it was the number 1 something.
But is that
right now?
Is that mainly because of the RPG?
I think so. They've raised, so it's the RPG plus Unstoppable campaign. So they're doing that together. Right now, they've got 24,253 backers.
Wow.
There's 29 days left on this. So this is just since Tuesday. They've raised almost $6 million.
How many?
Just since Tuesday.
So how many of those do you see? How many people pledged just for the Unstoppable?
So if I go into pledge levels, okay. So yes. So those that did just, oh wow, what are these? There's a bunch of them. So the Unstoppable, which is I think what I did.
So it's just Unstoppable, the expansion,
+1 expansion,
and something else. Yeah, there's like 3 things,
and then some stickers. That has
stickers.
2,800 people, almost 2,900. I went with that. Plus, I added the 3rd expansion as an add-on.
Oh, so that's the big.
But
pledge.
I didn't do the Unstoppable all in because that included a bunch of stuff like play mats and other things I just didn't want to spend.
So
I didn't want to buy. Because it did come with the expansions, but I didn't want the play mats. There was like 3 play mats with it, and I'm like, why am I going to pay for those? So, but then there's a bunch of different versions. So let's see. The biggest one here looks like 5,066 people have backed the Celestial. Oh wow! So the biggest one of backers is the most expensive one. Holy moly. So remember I said there was 4,600 people did the Unstoppable all in, and then there's another 5,066 backers that did the Celestial Dungeon Crawler Caro Games loot box, which is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Unstoppable, all the RPG stuff. There's a ton of stuff, and that's $490. And you've got over 5,000 people at that pledge level.
Wow.
This thing is huge. Like I said, this has only been 3 days. No, 2 days. Yeah, today's Thursday. It's only 2 days old. And they've got almost $6 million already.
Okay.
So it's going crazy. Renegade Game Studios has a hit on their hands with both of these. So I'm back the Unstoppable. A friend of mine is backing the RPG, and so I'm going to be able to play the RPG as well with him. So
oh wow,
we've already got several people telling him I want to play. So that's the thing. There's a lot of people getting in on this, and I think this is going to grow. So I'm curious as to, it is Renegade. They're going to have the ability to print, but I don't know how many they're going to do in their first run. And will the backer kit consume all of the first printings? That's kind of my thought. If this thing gets that popular, you've got that many people just in the first 2 days. This is going to continue. Word of mouth and everything is going to make this thing grow. Yeah, still 29 days left of this. And I think it could be really crazy large at the end of it. So the Unstoppable RPGs, even that, I think that would be a little easier. It's a lot of books and stuff like that. I would think that'd be a lot easier to just mass produce, but I would think the game, the Unstoppable portion with the boxes, the card sleeves, all the different cards in the multiple expansions, I would think that they may have a limit on their first run. So that's all I'm saying. Might not want to wait till retail. No. You might have to wait 2 years to get this in retail.
The only risk about waiting till retail is that, the game is going to just be snapped up by everybody that missed the campaign. So,
yeah,
you might need to wait until like the second or third wave to hit.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at Renegade's prior campaigns. The closest that they had to this level of success was they did a Power Rangers one. No, My Father's Work.
Ooh, good game.
That one had 10,000 backers for 920,000.
Yeah, so this is closing in on 25,000 backers.
Yeah,
but again, two like you said, two separate products. There's an RPG, which is I think the bigger of them, obviously, but the Unstoppable game is also pretty darn big. So
yeah.
I want the RPG just to have the books and stuff, but I'll be honest, but I'm not going to get it. I will play the game, though. And they have minis that I really want, but the miniatures those 3 miniature sets are so expensive, but they are fully painted, and they look amazing. It's like, I really want them just to have them for display, but they are way too expensive. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, you really want you really want the miniature of Wiggles the cat.
You mean Donut?
I know it's Donut. I was kidding.
Okay. Princess Donut to you.
Oh, Princess Donut, yeah.
Princess Donut. Yeah, I think if I recall, each one of those, there's 3 different mini sets, and I think each one was like $100. I'm going to go double check. But I was like, whoa, I can't spend. Okay, they're $65 each. So not as bad as I said, but that's still almost $200 just in miniatures, just for the minis. It's like, yeah, I can't do that. But they are pre-painted and all that, pre-posed, locked into motion, small scale figures, which would be great to have in an RPG campaign, or just to have on your shelf as a DCC fan. So,
isn't that so much easier to say?
Yes,
DCC.
Yes, it is. DCC.
You're not tripping over your tongue as you're saying it.
Doesn't call it Carl.
Yeah.
You know, the author of that lives in the town next to me. Okay. Just south of me. He's in the very next town. I live just a couple miles from this guy. I need to go knock on his door. Dude, what's up? Mm-hmm. So, anyways.
Anywho. All right. So I guess that's it for episode.
Oh, 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been
Let's
quit
for
a while. This is the longest show in a while. So that's all we got for episode 119. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show, and check back in with us in 2 weeks for episode 120. I'm Rob. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.
Mark. See you at the table.